Hello, hello, hello. We got a whole bunch of ways we're going to help you live longer. And you're going to have quality of life and better, right?
Yes, not longer like, oh, God, make this stop.
No, this would be longer and healthier.
Yes.
How's that?
That's better.
We got some tips today. Hi, I'm John Cadillac Seville. Thank you so much for having us on with my friend Joyce Logan. Joyce, good to see you as well.
Oh, nice to be here with you.
What's Good with John and Joyce? Available everywhere you get your podcast. Subscribe for free on YouTube and share it with everybody you know who needs good news. And in this world today, we need more good news. And we have it for you today.
Yes, we do.
Tell me what's good. Tell me what's nice. Keeping it cool, keeping it calm, keeping it light. Time to rejoice. What's good? What's good? What's good with John and Joyce?
I'd like to say a big thank you to all of our sponsors. Woodwinds Wedding and Special Events Venue and Silvio Sauces, thewoodwinds.com. Ascend Bank. They don't just see your accounts, they see your vision and ambitions. Ascend.bank. Linda Toscano of Caldwell Banker Realty in Guilford, Connecticut. With over 17 years of experience, Linda is known for her authentic, client-focused approach and expert guidance for buyers and sellers. Now, if you're thinking about making a move, Linda Toscano is someone you can trust. We're deeply grateful to all of our sponsors for their support and for partnering with us to uplift and enrich the lives of our listeners and viewers. So, ladies first. I'm going to let you talk there, Joyce.
Well, let's see. So we were going to have a talk today. First, I have to tell you that, we're talking about ways to live longer and live better, even when you're not feeling well, because I've been through a bout. I've had
you're still coming back from something here at recording time at the moment.
Yeah, I had bronchitis and ran through my family, but still I had to find the way to move my body, to do something.
Yeah.
Because I think when you do that, you actually alert your brain and your body that you want to live. Mm-hmm. I mean, that may sound really drastic.
Survival.
But it is. I think when you kind of give up, your body then just gives up and you're too tired to move. But even if I just stood and just marched in place a little bit, just to do something. And I did go outside and didn't really feel like going outside the other day.
You got vitamin D.
And I put my feet in the grass.
Do some grounding. Very good, very good.
Yeah, I did. So that's what we're going to talk about because we have like this little list we made up. And I know John...
Joyce made this list up. Let's be transparent.
Well, yeah. So
Thank you, Joyce.
Yeah, because your list would have been better.
I don't know about that.
No, it would have. Because you do a lot of this. So I went online and I looked at what other people were doing. People that I follow, people that I really admire. And I took a little bit from here, a little bit there, like, what are they doing? Mm-hmm. And I found that most of it is really what you're doing. But so many people ask us, so what do you do? And we're not going to be talking about the physique today as much as inner.
Right.
Yeah.
Sure.
So one of the first ones was to move your body every day.
Just get up each and every day. And you and I have talked about this in the past, Joyce. What I do, first thing in the morning, I do my prayerful work. I made kind of a promise to myself about a year and a half ago. I was going to get up an hour earlier. Get up an hour because so many people say, well, I'm so busy. I have to get to work, blah, blah, blah. We can still get it done. It's like, how badly do we want it to get it done? We got to take care of this temple, and we have to invest in it or else we're going to pay for it later on in life, right?
Right.
So I get up in the morning, do my prayerful work, spirit, mind, body, and then a half hour, 45 minutes of just constant movement, swinging my arms around, squats, push-ups, Tai Chi movements, yoga, Pilates. Joyce has changed everything.
Wow.
I had my physical recently, and the doctor said, and not to brag, but said you really have the body of somebody that's half your age.
Yeah.
And it just really, and I know you had a really good physical when your doctor saw you. Said you're amazingly boring, Joyce, because everything was so good.
Yeah.
Because you take care of yourself and exercise.
I do. So not that this didn't happen with me getting ill, but
we're still going to get sick every now and then.
Yeah, but I believe if I didn't do that, I would have been in way worse shape.
Right.
So, yes, I had a couple of good physicals, one with a heart doctor, one with a regular doctor. And the heart doctor, I usually see him twice a year because heart disease runs in the family. I do a wellness check. And at the end of the whole visit, he just looked at me and he said, well, I don't see any reason to see you in 6 months. He says, you are frankly boring. And it's like, yes,
Yeah.
I am heart disease boring.
Right. But it really is so important. And again, just move, because some people have a hard time getting around. But, just instead of sitting on the couch watching TV all the time, which in and of itself is not bad to watch TV every now and then, but we just need to get up and just move. And there are so many simple things you can do at home.
Right.
Well,
there's a time to rest, and then there's a time,
who's that,
time
Joyce?
to move.
Somebody who wants to learn a little bit more about movement. Okay, right. We'll get right back to you after the taping.
So
here.
sorry about that.
That's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Huh. That's familiar. Wait a minute, I know that. Never mind. Never mind. So moving. But John, you taught me that because I started doing things like, just tapping on my chest.
Right.
Because that gets that oxygen going too, the blood
yes.
flowing, and under the arms.
The lymph nodes going. Yep.
Yeah, and then I take, my wrist and I, just move along it's just like waking up your body. But the first thing I say is, thank you, God, I'm alive.
Thank you
I must be here for another reason.
Thank you for breathing breath in my lungs today.
Yes.
But you're right. I mean, tapping the body, tapping the head, rubbing the body like this, massaging the scalp.
Yes.
Massaging behind the back of your neck, which gets the blood flow to your neck.
Right.
Your brain, That's really important. And just tapping the rest of your body, moving. You could be in bed. You could be doing leg lifts.
Yeah, there's always something you could do.
Something you can do.
Just so moving the body is key.
Right.
So that's number one. What do we have? Making sleep a priority.
Oh, sleep
I
is
know
so
many
important.
people struggle with that.
I'll sleep when I'm dead. No.
No, your body repairs itself.
Yes, it does.
When you're sleeping. Mm-hmm. And, some people say they need to fall asleep by TV. TV actually keeps me alert and awake. And frankly, I could spend all night watching TV. I get so engrossed in whatever I'm watching. So I really have to force myself to shut the TV off. I do have blackened out curtains.
Yes, smart move.
And I have a machine, like an air filter with a nice humming sound.
I like the white noise in the background.
Just the white noise.
Yes.
Yeah, the white noise. And I notice what puts me to sleep the quickest is taking several deep breaths in, holding it, exhaling slowly, and then doing that 3 more times. And it's like I took a melatonin.
Yeah, breathing in through your nose is so important.
It is.
It really is. Breathing
in through your nose is really important because it's the reason why the nose hairs exist. Because when you breathe in, it's actually acting like a filter, and it's filtering out, helping with dust and mites and pollen. And you really should even breathe out through your nostrils, as well. But breathing out through your mouth is also good.
But you really need to fill those lungs because the more air you have in
belly
your body,
breathing, yes.
Belly breathing is so important.
not chest breathing, not what they call thoracic breathing. You want diaphragmatic breathing.
And I do that when I'm even speaking on the radio. Or doing things. Whenever I do my radio shows, I head on down to the studio in my house. I stand up straight, really good posture, and like you said, it all comes from the diaphragm.
Yeah,
and that's why I like to do my shows standing up. Obviously, we're doing this podcast sitting down, but I prefer when I'm doing my shows.
Yeah.
But you could still project.
You can still do it.
Back,
so the way you can get belly breathing really quickly is to imagine that you're like a Raggedy Ann doll.
Oh, somebody is really persistent. They want to get in touch with you today. Wow.
They're not so familiar. But
maybe somebody wants to be a sponsor. Well, let's talk to them.
But they're not in my contacts or their name has shown up. So I don't know. Anyway, if you think of your body like a Raggedy Ann doll, and I learned this many moons ago from a therapist who specialized in dealing with people with anxiety. And she said, if you could think of your body like a Raggedy Ann doll, and your breath will automatically go to your belly, it sends a message to your brain that you're okay. So once that message goes to your brain, it starts shutting off all that adrenaline and cortisol.
Yes, which is not good.
That's giving you those anxious thoughts. So I do think of that when I'm sitting, especially if I'm in a meeting or something, or in a doctor's office. I just think of myself like a Raggedy Ann doll, get the breath down there. And that's what will help you sleep.
Agreed. And I make sure I get, whenever possible, 8-9 hours sleep a night.
That's
I
great.
can get by on 6 or 7. If I'm like out late night doing my DJ gigs or something, or doing radio shows and doing appearances, I can get by and still have high energy.
Yeah.
But whenever I get a chance, Joyce, 8-9 hours sleep, I get into the room, I can fall asleep like that. And I have the fan on. I like to have the fan on in the room. I like circulating air, but not directly on me.
Yeah.
But just so I can hear it.
Oh, yeah, me too.
Because you don't want the fan directly on you, because then it can, all kinds of particles can go in your nose, your eyes,
Yeah.
your
I
mouth.
actually have the white noise machine filter and a fan, and I turn the fan away for that very reason, just to circulate in the room.
But it's a great feeling. It's a great feeling. When you wake up the next morning, you feel refreshed. And again, prayerful work, like you. Thank you, God, for breathing breath into my lungs today. It must mean I have an assignment.
Right.
It's another day to go out there and do good.
And listen, if you feel uncomfortable saying that, just say thank you.
Right, sure.
Just lift your hands up in the air because it causes movement.
It does.
And just say thank you, because we know God hears you.
Yeah. Because you set your whole tone for your day. So many people wake up grumpy, and you're setting yourself up for failure. Just get up and move, and then head on down the hallway, which is what I do, to the kitchen. I have a large glass of spring water with some Celtic salt in it. Give me the electrolytes I need, maybe a little bit of apple cider vinegar, which is really good for controlling your blood sugar and all that. And then I'll have my cup of coffee, organic black coffee in the morning. Take care of my work around the house, recording my radio shows, hang out with Patty, the kitty cats. Then I go downstairs and do my work in the studio. And then I'll usually hit the gym for a half hour to get some weight training.
Of course you do.
Got to hit the gym. Got to take care of the body. You know?
Yes.
And the more muscle you have, the more calories you burn, and the healthier you are. Keep those bones strong.
Right.
And really work on balance exercises.
Balance is important.
I know you do that. Getting up on one leg and trying to hold that balance for,
brush your teeth on one leg.
Right.
Try doing that. Something a little bit
Or
different.
tie your shoes up with one leg.
Yes.
That's not easy.
Yeah.
But balance is essential, because as we get older, the number one cause of injuries to older people, we don't want to use age here, but it's falls.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so important to have that balance. And keep your hand up against the wall and just try to balance on one leg.
Right.
Try it for 10 seconds, 5 seconds, and try to work your way up to a minute or a minute and a half.
Yes.
But I'll just focus on something on the wall and not try to be distracted. And I'll raise my legs, one leg at a time, minute and a half. It's so good. It's so important. It gives me confidence.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you're out there walking around and you feel like you trip on something and you get, boom,
Right.
you get your balance back really quick.
Right.
But don't ever underestimate the power of balance exercises.
Yeah.
Essential.
That's a good point, John. Really good point. Over a certain age, people, maybe you've all been asked, like, have you fallen lately?
Yeah.
And it's like, that's an odd
That's right. The
question.
doctors ask us that all the time. Have you fallen lately?
Right.
One of the first questions.
Yeah. And I didn't get it. The first time I heard it, I thought, ooh, I must have reached a certain age where they're asking me.
Right.
But I have to tell you, it's probably too TMI, but yesterday I just felt like taking a hot bath in the morning, just because of my chest and, congestion and all that. And when I got up out of the bathtub, I realized I didn't hang on. I mean, I just get up.
Right.
And I thought, that's a good sign.
They're really good. You could do some exercises even in your chair, or get up out of your chair without using your hands.
Yes.
And a lot of people have a hard time getting up off the floor without using their hands. I mean, all different age groups. And if you're having a hard time doing that, don't beat yourself up. You could do it. I mean, just practice a little bit, maybe a couple on your own if you can. Then use your hands a little bit if you have to, or balance up against the wall.
Right.
But just do whatever you can. But it's just so important.
Show us like what. So just like, that's great.
Just do this.
Yeah, because you're adding the balance. You're balancing out by holding your arms out.
But there's so many things you can do at home. I mean, take cans of vegetables or fruits, whatever, while you're in the kitchen, and just
you don't need anything fancy.
Bicep exercise. You don't need any weights at all. Body exercises are great.
Yeah,
it really is.
That's a really good one. And the other one I know that you do is step outside in the morning.
Grounding.
So grounding. But John, what do you do if it's snow or rain, or do you tend to just open the door?
Well, I have
Just
like a grounding sheet on my bed. I ordered like a little sheet that goes underneath the sheet on my bed. It just goes across and you plug it in. And it's a grounding mat.
Tell me about this grounding mat.
And you
What-
can
what-
actually have like a grounding mat, and you can put your feet on it when you're watching TV or reading
I didn't know
or
about
listening
this.
to the radio. Yeah, there's grounding mats.
Wait, do you plug it in?
you can plug it in.
And does it vibrate? What does it do?
It doesn't vibrate at all, but it just gives you exactly what you need for the grounding. I'm not sure technically how it works, but I know when I wake up, I feel good. But I prefer outside if at all possible.
Right. But if you can't get outside,
Yeah.
you could get a grounding.
Grounding mat. Yeah, look it up. Earthing, they call it grounding. But it's so important to walk barefoot, too, as much as you can.
Yeah, I always walk barefoot.
Because whenever I work when I get up in the morning, too, I do a lot of leg lifts, but I also roll my ankles
Yeah.
in bed.
Oh,
and
and circulation.
And one of the first
Yeah.
things you should do is move your ankles up and down.
Mm-hmm.
Just up and down like this for about 30 to 60 seconds. It really helps the heart,
Right.
get the blood going in the heart. But
Because
just touching your body all
Yeah,
the way through. Just
Because
touch
when
your
you're in the
body.
hospital, they want you to move.
You want to move.
They're telling you, they even have those cuffs you put on.
Right, right.
Yeah, to make sure the circulation's going. So let me ask you this, because you do, this may sound overwhelming to people, but it sounds like you're in such a routine that you're not really thinking about it. You're just doing it, right?
It's like anything else. Typically, they say 30 days for a routine.
Right,
It could vary
right.
depending on people. But once I got into this routine of doing this every day, if you wait for motivation in life, things don't happen. You just have to do it, and
You
then
have
the
to do it.
motivation follows.
You've got to do
You
it.
just got it, just like Nike says, just do
You
it.
can't read books about it and be inspired and then go out and do the opposite.
I mean, how many people you know that are book smart, but they don't put it into play?
Yeah.
The whole
I
thing.
know many.
Right, and I'm guilty of some of that in some areas of my life too. But
Well, it's life, of course, but we can get ourselves back on track because we've been doing it for a while.
But I've always been very, very disciplined with my health, my fitness, and just trying to be there for people,
Yeah.
that type of stuff. And my work ethic is really good.
See, this is
and I know yours is too.
This is where we want to be self-centered,
Right.
in a good way.
Self-centered is good.
You have to be. You have to take care of yourself because you can't take care of others
That's
unless
exactly
you do
right.
that.
Yeah, you're exactly right.
So stepping outside in the morning. Now, I remember when it was snowing out, I put on a jacket and boots, and I brushed snow off a little chair I had because I remember my
You're a
grandson.
warrior. I like
He
that.
looked at me through the glass window and he shook his head like, "What are you doing?" But I didn't stay out long. I just needed to do that, to get out there and do that. But I think I could do that in the house, just standing by a window with sun coming in, just to center yourself. And I'm going to look into that grounding mat.
Yeah, the grounding mat. Look at that up.
Yes.
But first thing in the morning, I'll have my cup of coffee. Not first thing, but once I get things going, I'll just sit outside for 10, 15, 20 minutes, barefoot on the ground.
Yeah.
Many times I'll just be standing up, and I can just return my messages to people from the morning, check my emails
Right.
at the same time. And it's just so soothing on a beautiful day just to get it done before it gets too hot or
All right, so let's do that. And the other thing that I read is very important is actually to touch the earth.
Yes. So
So-
that's why it's so important with bare feet, sitting outside with the grounding, your bare feet, or I'll even do push-ups outside on the grass itself, on the ground, because the healing qualities with nature is just goes right through your body, and it just circulates through the body. I can't explain how, but it's something that Indians were doing way back in the early
Yes.
days as well, and
Yes.
they were healthy.
Yes.
That's for sure.
Yes. What else do we have to talk about that we could live longer and live better? This one was interesting. Preparing something to eat. And I really like this because I'm sure it is something that I do every day, but maybe not everyone does it. Prepare at least one meal that you make. Now, it could be slicing a banana and putting peanut butter on it or something.
Yummy.
Because even a simple sandwich, a salad, or a bowl of fruit, preparing your food is meaningful and it's an act of self-care.
It is, because too
Right.
many people, they'll wait and they have nothing prepared, and they're so hungry and famished they grab whatever's in front of them.
Take that time to pause. I learned that long ago, to thank the food. To stop. I learned this from a friend long ago, and she stopped. Susan Palmieri, I love you. She stopped and said that she thanked all the people it took to get this food on her plate.
That's a great, I love that. It's like just thanking all the people in your life, thanking your server if you're at a restaurant. Thank you for that server for getting that food to me. Thank you for the chef in the back who's preparing that food. Thank you for the people that delivered the food to that restaurant or to your home.
Right.
Thank you, avocado, for being such a power-packed fruit.
Right.
I mean, it doesn't
You
get
are
much better than
awesome
avocados.
Avocado, yes.
I
you
love
are awesome.
avocados. It's like
too.
nature's most perfect food.
Yes. I want one right now. I
Me
do.
too.
But that is important, not to take everything for granted. To take that pause.
Think of people in other parts of the world who don't have what we have.
I do think
Right?
that.
We are so
I even
blessed
think when
to be
I
where
take
we
a
are.
shower that not everyone has access to water
They
like we
don't.
have.
No?
So just be grateful.
Right? Gratitude.
Be grateful. And protect your peace. Listen, everybody.
Too many people trying to invade your space. Get real estate in between your ears.
I like this one. Stop exhausting yourself by explaining who you are to people who've already decided what they want to believe about you.
Not everybody's going to be for you, and that's okay.
Yeah, because that's exhausting trying to please everybody.
I'm
That's
guilty of that at times because
exhausting.
I've got the personality where I want to make everybody happy. I want to bring people together.
Yeah.
My wife calls me Switzerland sometimes.
Switzerland
That's
is good.
Switzerland, right?
Sure. You want to be
That's my
Switzerland.
nature.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you don't want to go overboard and then compromise your principles to try to make everything happen. Certain people you can't help. Certain people you can't help.
You can't. And you have to know you can't fix everyone.
No.
But one thing I really admire about you, John, and we have a book coming out, and you're going to be very surprised what John has written about a segment of his life in your book. And I think of you often when I hear the saying, what does that say? Like, don't think my kindness, don't confuse.
Oh, my kindness with weakness or meekness.
Yes, don't confuse my kindness with weakness.
Right.
Because you are one of the most compassionate, kindest people I know, but you're no doormat. And when people cross that line, you let them know. And I admire that in you. You don't get to the point where you were, let's say, as a teenager, maybe like fighting or something. But you let them know, like, I don't like what you just did.
Yeah, I'll respect and always give people the benefit of the doubt.
That's because you respect yourself, John.
True. And I love people, and I realize I try to put myself in their shoes all the time.
Yeah.
So I try to get my ego out of the way. So if they're rude, I'm thinking, okay, they've had a bad day.
Yep.
Maybe they lost their job. Maybe they had a fight with their spouse or whatever. So I try to step back and practice the pause. But if somebody if they were continually rude in my face, I would try to dissuade them, disarm them, and be kind of, listen, let's just have a conversation.
Yeah.
Maybe you're having a really tough day today. Hey, listen, I've been there. But let's just talk this out.
Yeah.
And just put yourself in their shoes. And 99% of the time that will work. Because I don't want to engage. I don't want to fight.
Right.
I'm a lover, not a fighter.
Right.
But if somebody did back me up into a wall,
Yeah.
or somebody tried to hurt you or hurt my wife or my stepdaughter or anybody I love, I'm going to step right in and protect them.
Yeah. Yes, you do. So protect your peace, but don't be a doormat.
Right. Don't be a
Yes.
doormat.
And you don't have to be nasty about it.
No,
you
no.
can, yes, you can. You can hit that head on. I also liked writing a letter. So if you write a letter to someone who hurt you, and let's say maybe they're no longer on earth, but it's something you need to purge out of you. So they may be living, no longer here, and you may never send the letter. But when you write from the perspective of the person you were then, because let's say it happened a while ago, and you were really hurt about that, and the person you are now, it may not have the same tone to it, but you're actually like healing yourself by doing that, and you're just letting it slide out of your body. Like, I don't want to hang on to this any longer. So writing can release emotions you've carried for far too long, and sending the letter is optional, but healing yourself is the purpose.
That's great, Joyce. It's also like if you're angry, too many times we fly off the handle too quick without thinking about it. So if you're angry with somebody and you really want to give a piece of your mind, it's the flesh, write it, but don't send it. It's like with a text. How many times have you texted somebody and it got you in trouble?
Oh, yeah.
And I haven't had that recently, but back in the early days, I would send something and go, I shouldn't have sent that. Right. I wish I could have rethought it.
Or the tone sounds different than what you meant it to be.
Right. And that's why it's important to leave a voice message.
You're really good at leaving voice messages. Yeah, that's important.
So I'll leave a voice message with people on Messenger or whatever. I'll call them because that way they can hear the sincerity of my voice. Like you said, the inflection, but a text is cold.
Yeah.
And I remember sending a text to somebody once before. I said, John, that doesn't sound like you. That was like really not very nice. And then when I explained it with a phone call, they go, oh, okay, now I know what you meant.
Yeah. See, good that you did that because they would have gone through the rest of their life saying, I don't know what's wrong with John.
Oh, yes, I called them right away. And the thing is, that person was having a bad day.
Yeah.
So the way they interpreted it based on what was going on in their life was not exactly what was meant.
Right. So let's see. The last one we'll leave you with is there's so many. Oh, God, there's so many
there could be a
things.
part 2 of this down the line.
Yeah, there's got to be. But I'm going to address this now because there's something sitting there.
Oh, Joyce is going to address this now.
So reading something wise. And I know you do that, John. Read at least one page from an inspiring or meaningful book every morning or before you go to bed. What you consistently pour into your mind influences your thoughts, beliefs, and choices. Feed your mind words that strengthen you rather than frighten or discourage you. A better life is rarely created through one enormous change. It's built through the small, loving choices you make every day. But I want to talk about this little book I have sitting here because Dave, who owns this studio,
Direct Line Media here in Brantford.
His mom told me about this book, and it's called The Cafe on the Edge of the World.
Oh, I like that title.
A story about the meaning of life. It is a little book. You could read this in an hour or so. And even though, John, we know a lot of this stuff, there's a little bit of a spin on this that really made me stop to think. So I'm giving this to you. I'm passing that on to you.
Thank you. And here it is right here, folks.
The Cafe on the Edge of the World.
Right.
Highly recommend that. Easy breezy reading.
I will read this later on.
It'll make you think. Yeah. It will absolutely make you think.
Well, we are what we consume. So we hopefully this was helpful to you and hearing you speak, Joyce, and it was helpful to me too. It's nice sometimes to hear yourself say it or hear somebody else say it at the same time, And
we need that reinforcement.
We do. We do.
We all do.
But we want you to be healthy. We want you to be the best version of yourself, not just for you, but your family, your coworkers, everybody that you come in contact with. Mm-hmm. And we really need to take care of ourselves spiritually, mentally, and physically. Not trying to be preachy, but I think we all innately know that.
Yeah.
We innately know that.
We do. And after you watch this, leave comments. We'd love to read your comments about it, like what you do.
Right.
Or what you found helpful.
Right, because we all learn from each other.
And then we may talk about you in a loving way.
Well, thank you for tuning in to What's Good with John and Joyce, available everywhere on all platforms where you find your favorite podcast. And till next time, bless you and your family. Thank you so much for being a part of our lives. You blessed us in so many ways. And Joyce, you blessed me. And lots of love to you and your family.
Love you all.
Till next time. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Hey, I heard you got engaged. Congratulations. Now it's time to book the DJ. And that's where we come in. I'm John Cadillac Seville with John Seville Entertainment, Wedding Wire, and the Knot 2026 Couples Choice Awards winner. You can call me directly if you like at 203-988-0658. We'll set up your free consultation. Or go to johncaddyman.com. That's 203-988-0658 or johncaddyman.com. We offer excellence, peace of mind, and a great time for all. John Seville Entertainment, a name you know and can trust.